Hey guys, this is the Stupendous Wave Birthday video today. In this one we're doing a dinosaur battle, and this one will be between the Mosasaur and the Megalodon. Now neither of these are really technically dinosaurs, but I am using them for dino battles anyway. So anyway, just one more thing, I am using the real life Mosasaur version because the one in the Jurassic World trailer looks way over 60 feet, so I am using the regular real life one that actually existed. So the Mosasaur was a snake-like marine reptile. It was 30 to 60 feet long depending on where on the planet it was. It was different sizes in different places. It was bigger in some areas and smaller in other areas. It had 4 paddle-like flippers and 1 long tail fin. 1 long tail that it used to swim with. It swam similar to a snake manner, wriggling around through the water. It had a pointed head, extremely powerful jaws, and as we saw in the Jurassic World trailer, it eats sharks, it ate fish, it ate large turtles during that time, and this was altogether just an extremely large animal, 30 to 60 feet, something that was able to swim around and was the dominant predator at the time of its living. It was a pack predator. It hunted in packs. It never hunted alone. It kept its young around until they grew up to be a little older. It's different from the Megalodon because the Megalodon, we know from most sharks, all sharks, once they give birth, they move on. They don't really have a family unit. The Mosasaur is very different. They're very pack-oriented animals, which is really interesting. Its main advantage, the Mosasaur that I'm giving it, is that it was extremely maneuverable. The snake that it has in it is able to turn on a dime, really quick, precise movements, and with that tail it is able to whip around very quickly, something that the Megalodon cannot do. It is not able to whip around as precise and as quick as the Mosasaur would be able to. A key disadvantage that the Mosasaur has is that it has to come up for air. It is not a fish, it is a marine reptile, meaning that it does breathe air and that it would have to come up for air. The Mosasaur actually originated on land. It originally had 4 flipper-like arms, but still arms or legs, and they eventually moved to the water permanently and developed 4 flippers. So that's really interesting. The Mosasaur, again, 30 to 60 feet long, 4 paddle-like flippers, 1 long tail fin, swam similar to a snake, pointed head, extremely powerful jaws. It is extremely maneuverable and it has to come up for air. So now that we've set up the Mosasaur, an extremely dangerous and predatory animal, let's talk about its opponent, the Megalodon. So the Megalodon is similar to an animal that is alive today, which is the great white shark. They are extremely similar, they look similar, the only difference is one is a whole lot bigger and a whole lot longer. So the Megalodon was 40 to 60 feet long. So the Mosasaur and the Megalodon are really comparable in size. It had 1 long tail fin, 1 dorsal fin, and 2 pectoral fins, similar to all sharks that we know about. It had an extremely large mouth. In fact, if you go to museums, you can see pictures of people standing in Megalodon's mouth, and in some cases you would be able to stand from top to bottom in a Megalodon mouth. That's how big this guy was. He could swallow at least 5 people whole, I bet. It was a lot stockier than a great white, meaning that it's a lot bigger and buffer than a great white would be. It's also much longer, but again, its stockiness adds to the incredible strength that it had. Mike G actually compared him to a gigantic football player. So this is really a battle between what seems to be a really strong Megalodon, which is of course an offensive lineman, going against someone like a defensive lineman or a receiver, someone who's extremely quick, or a linebacker, someone that's quick and strong. So the Megalodon also does not have to come up for air. That's its probably biggest advantage, is that it does not have to breathe air. It can stay underwater as long as it can, therefore giving it a distinct advantage. It was stockier than the Mosasaur, larger, not longer, which means that it was stronger than the Mosasaur, and just an overall bigger and more intimidating threat. Some of its weaknesses: it is not as maneuverable as the Mosasaur. It is not able to turn as quickly as a Mosasaur, although it is likely to be able to swim faster in a straight line than the Mosasaur. It is not as maneuverable. So now that we've set up our two combatants, let's go ahead and talk about the winner. So in my opinion, now this is just an opinion piece, giving the information that we have at this time, I definitely think that the Megalodon is the clear winner here. And the reason why I think is because it does not have to come up for air. The way I think this battle would play out is the Megalodon and the Mosasaur would both be under the water. They'd be scrapping at each other. They'd be biting at each other for a very long time. The Megalodon would rush at the Mosasaur, and the Mosasaur would slither around it, take a small little bite out of it, and then rinse and repeat until the Mosasaur would have to come up for air. And at that point, if you've ever seen the Great White Air Jaws documentary, it shows you exactly how quickly a great white can do a vertical climb straight up to get a seal as soon as it gets an opportunity. And that's how I think that this battle would play out. I think the Mosasaur would eventually, one, get tired and would have to go up for air, and once it would be up in the air, the Megalodon would make a straight vertical climb and bite right into the Mosasaur, killing it because of course it does have a stronger bite force. So that's just how I think the battle would play out. That's who I think would win. When we learn more about these animals, I might be doing another one. I might be redoing this if we discover maybe a giant Mosasaur, like a 80-foot long. That would be really cool. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Who do you guys think would win? Now this is just an opinion piece. It's not fact or anything. It's not church. So leave your thoughts in the comments. Do you think the Mosasaur would win? Do you think I'm just completely wrong? Leave it all in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget